to get my ICTV.
Welcome back to our next segment of The Rock is On. I am your host, The Rock or Rocky, and we still got to talk about our next segment. We're still going to get into the NBA All Star Game, but but for another reason. And obviously, the main thing about this going into this past weekend or this All Star break for the NBA was Kobe Bryant's last ever All Star game because we all know the rule. We all know what's going on. Every NBA fan knows what's up. Kobe Bryant. He's gonna hang him up. He's gonna retire after this year, and you have to admit, and it's pretty sad, but you have to admit, Kobe, was just an exciting, just an elusive player to watch. And you can ask anyone in this generation, who's watched basketball over the last 2 decades. You have to admit, Kobe. You have to say Kobe was this era's this was this era's this version's or this era's of Michael Jordan was a common era of Michael Jordan in his prime. Now also, but we have to and with all the celebration that's going on, honoring Kobe's career, we just gotta wonder: is Kobe considered the GOAT? And in my opinion, there's been so many iconic players in the NBA that have played. You go back to the 1960s with Bill Russell and the Celtics. When they won 8 consecutive titles. And winning 11 championships out of 12. And then you go in this 80s with Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. With the Lakers and Celtics battling each other out for the NBA title. You know, with hard fought, hard nosed defense. And then of course you go in the '90s with Jordan, and the Bulls, and having two three-peats or having one three-peat in the early '90s, then retiring, then have a 2-year layoff, then unretiring and having another three-peat, which I thought was pretty impressive, if you ask me. And then and then you had the emergence of Kobe Bryant. And Kobe, and then Kobe started this trend where it's like, we have players coming out of high school, skipping college, and going straight to the NBA. Well, actually, excuse me, Kobe wasn't the first one to do it. It was Kevin Garnett did it, and then Kobe later followed. But Kobe was one of those iconic players. You just had to respect, though. Whether you liked him or not, you had to respect him. Because, Kobe was a fierce competitor. Kobe, he wanted a lot from his players. He demanded a lot from his players, and he pushed them. He pushed them to the limit. Because Kobe wanted to win. That's how fierce he was. That's how competitive he was. You know? And despite, when he tag teamed along with Shaq in the late 90s, despite them having success and having the three-peat, there was a bit of a turmoil though, because Shaq, knowing Shaq, his personality, he was a very lax guy. He was a very lax guy. He joked around a lot. Eased the locker room a little. But Kobe was all business. And that kind of, and with Shaq acting like that, it kind of rubbed Kobe the wrong way. Thus leading him to leading Shaq at the time to get traded to the Miami Heat. And it kind of sent the Lakers in a downward world spiral. But after the Shaquille O'Neal trade, and this is what I kind of respect about Kobe. He silenced the doubters because after the Shaquille O'Neal trade, when the Lakers sent him to Miami, everyone was wondering, can Kobe win a championship without Shaq? Can he do this? Can he do that? And a lot of people, a lot of naysayers were saying, oh, Kobe was just there for the ride. He was good and all, but he couldn't win without Shaq. He couldn't win without Shaq. Kobe couldn't win without Shaq. Shaq pretty much piggybacked the Lakers to those 3 championships. Um, but Kobe silenced those naysayers, and it all. And after Shaq left, you saw that Kobe was having difficulty trying to get past the first round. 2006 playoffs, Despite his team having a 3-1 series lead, they lost in 7 games to the Suns. Then they lost to the Suns again, but in 5. But then, so Kobe had a little bit of a tough stretch. Kobe had a bit of a tough stretch, though. But that all changed, I'd say, in 2008, in his MVP year, his lone MVP year, where he led the Lakers to the NBA Finals, but they were defeated by the better team at the time, which was the Boston Celtics. And it was kind of a blast from the past because we haven't seen Lakers Celtics in a while. We haven't seen prior to that point. We haven't seen Lakers Celtics in the NBA Finals in a while. And both teams, you have to admit, the Lakers did have some success, but the Celtics fell off a little though. So that NBA Finals rejuvenated the rivalry. But then after that NBA Finals defeat, people were still saying Kobe can't win the big one. Kobe can't win without Shaq. Kobe can't do this. Kobe can't do that. But you know what? Kobe busted his rear end, the following year. And, he had that chip on his shoulder. He had that chip on his shoulder. So, he demanded a lot from his teammates. He pushed them throughout the whole 2008-2009 season. And then, you know what? All that hard work he put in and holding that chip of losing the NBA Finals to the Celtics, it really paid off because in 2009 he won the NBA title for the Lakers. They beat the Orlando Magic in 5. A young Dwight Howard at the time, and also who had beaten the top-ranked Cleveland Cavaliers, who had the best record in the NBA that year. But and then Kobe, and I think after that NBA Finals, when the Lakers defeated the Magic in 2009, that silenced the naysayers. And that kind of proved people, hey, Kobe is a great player. Kobe can be good. Kobe can win without Shaq. Kobe can be a leader. Kobe has the will and the determination to just dominate. And then the following year, Kobe kind of I would say Kobe put a cherry on top of his. It was kind of like a cherry on top of his career, and that's when he led the Lakers to a second consecutive championship by defeating the Boston Celtics and avenging in 7 games, and then he avenged that NBA Finals defeat 2 years prior. And then in that game though, and when you think of a Game 7 NBA Finals, all the chips are thrown or pushed to the middle of the table. Everything's on the line. Every guy is playing the whistle, playing it out, being physical on the defensive side of the ball, going after every loose ball, and treating each day like there's no tomorrow. And that's what Kobe did in that low scoring game. I remember that game. Ron Artest or Meta World Peace, or as he calls himself nowadays, the Panda's friend. The Panda's friend hitting a clutch 3-pointer though. But that was all due in part to Kobe. All due to Kobe. And you have to admit, Kobe is just a phenomenal player, and I don't think we'll ever see someone the likes of him again. Who knows? Maybe within 20, 30 years we could have another Kobe Bryant. And we hear all the comparisons to him and Michael Jordan. If they're going to, is Kobe the GOAT? Is Michael the GOAT? You know what? In my opinion, I don't think there is a GOAT. I think there's a whole bunch of iconic players in the NBA. I'd say a good 5 to 10 players who are iconic, or I can consider iconic. But yeah, that 2010 NBA Finals though, that pretty much solidified Kobe's career and just I think put for once and all put an end to any doubters or any naysayers that said anything bad about him or negative about him. And but then but also, you know, but like I said, that was Kobe's defining moment. That 2010 NBA Finals, because if you look at the years after that, he didn't really the Lakers didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, they got in the year after in the 2011 playoffs, they were demolished and they were swept away by the eventual champion, Dallas Mavericks. You know, then they couldn't they couldn't get past the Thunder the year after that, and then that's when and then after that defeat or after that playoff defeat, they tried to acquired Dwight Howard and Steve Nash. You know, or an old Steve Nash way past his prime. You know, trying to give Kobe that elusive sixth title, so that way he had just as many as Jordan. You know, and it just didn't work out because with Kobe's, Nash was banged up, and you thought everyone at the time thought, oh, with Steve Nash, Kobe, Ron Artest, Pau Gasol, and Dwight Howard, or emerging Dwight Howard, the Lakers, were going to be a title contender, but that didn't work because Nash was banged up, dealt with a bunch of injuries. Dwight Howard didn't live up to his potential, thus leading him to go to Houston, my Rockets, my favorite team. But I also think that Kobe's competitiveness and demand out of Dwight kind of drove him away, though. But and then after that, the years just prior to, and then the years after that, where the Lakers were just absolutely awful, though, and just couldn't, had difficulty winning ball games, couldn't accomplish a whole lot. The only thing they accomplished, I would say, is getting a top pick in D'Angelo Russell. But but other than that, it's just in terms of winning games and being competitive, it's been difficult for the Lakers though. So that's why I think to the 2010 NBA Finals was Kobe Bryant's last hurrah or put a cherry on his top to put a cherry on top of his and so just solidified his career. That is it for this segment, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Victor Cruz, Super Bowl champion New York Giants.